is John Galloway, and I happen to be the Chief Marketing Officer of Hard Rock International, and I'm proud to welcome you guys all today to the Hard Rock Cafe Seattle, a cafe that's been with us for about 2 years, rockin' Seattle, and I just want to give a big shout out to the team and staff here for all the work they do in the last 2 years. So it's a great job with you guys. Now, importantly today, we're really here to talk about the kickoff of Signature Series 29. And for Hard Rock, the Signature Series is all about picking an iconic artist who's made major contributions in their field, in the field of music, and finding a way to give back to things that matter to that artist. Over the years, we've had relationships with Elton John, we've had relationships most recently with The Who, you go back, Bruce Springsteen, you name them, the who's of artists over time. But I gotta say, we couldn't be prouder than to have the relationship and association we have with Signature Series 29 artist Jimi Hendrix. Obviously, the most iconic guitarist of all time. So we're really proud today. Today's all about announcing the partnership between Hard Rock, the Hendrix Foundation, the Fender Foundation, and the Jimi Hendrix Park. This will be a Signature Series 29 that is rolling out as we speak in stores throughout the world, where the donations will be given to those three foundations to help bring music and spread music and the joy of music, both in schools and in parks in Seattle. So I just want to turn it over now to a gentleman who is really responsible for a lot of the vision behind what you'll see behind me on stage. And Del, why don't you come up here and join me? And Del Breckenfeld was going to come up and talk to me from Fender about the role Fender played in this whole deal.
Thank you very much. I get goosebumps when I get near this guitar because I had the pleasure of seeing Jimmy play in Chicago when I grew up in Chicago. And at that time, I mean, I was a terrible guitar player, but even being in the audience and witnessing this greatness, I knew at that time I was never going to see anyone else like him, and it's true today. And I think Fender as a company is so blessed because he chose the Fender Stratocaster to be his instrument of art and expression and music that, you know, in a very short period of time changed music, and he changed the way guitars played. A gentleman named Tom Zotos, representing Alan Aldridge, contacted me 2 years ago and said, we need an image of Jimi Hendrix. And I said, well, we can help with that. We'll go to Janie Hendrix, but what's the connection, you know, what do you need it for? And they said, well, the Hard Rock 40th anniversary. And I said, well, what's the connection with Jimmy? And they said, well, Alan was working with Jimmy on the design of a guitar. And of course, they knew the light bulb would go off. And I said, well, where's the guitar? Jimmy never saw it. And 3 times he was on the design, never saw the final version. So that became the dream and the vision. If we had just done artwork on a guitar, it would have been incredible. The fact that it's Jimmy's vision makes it just so amazing and so unbelievable, because after 40 years, when you think about it, this is bringing this back from 40 years for the first time for the public, for his fans, for everyone to see his genius. So it is really an honor for me to be up here. I want to thank you so much. And it is really the person that deserves the credit is Janie Hendrix. So Janie, come on up.
And this guitar is an amazing guitar because, yes, it was Jimmy's inspiration, it was his lyrics, it was he and Alan coming together and collaborating on this guitar, which is a real rarity as far as what has been out, because it's either been Jimmy's actual artwork on the guitar, really reflective of his lyrics and the color in his clothing and his iconic wear, and the fabulous music that he gave us. And we're so blessed to be part of Hard Rock and the connection with the 40th year of their celebration, as well as last year was our 40th year, and this year would be Jimmy's 70th birthday. Here we are in Seattle for the first time. This guitar is being revealed in the United States, and this is where they wanted to start because this is where Jimmy was born and raised and made his start, and Seattle was put on the map because of Jimmy's music, really. Northwest African American Museum on 2400 Massachusetts, and the city has deemed that land for Jimi, and they've given us about $600,000, and we've hired an architect, we have a design. If you go on the foundation website, the Jimi Hendrix Park Foundation website, you'll see the design, and we need to raise about $1.4 million to complete the park. It'll be the first real monument and tribute to Jimi, where it's really named after him. So these t-shirts, 15% of the sales between Fender Foundation and the park will go for that. So thank you.
All right, so feel free to come on up, take a look at the memorabilia up here throughout the cafe. And we're gonna...
Okay, tell me your name again?
My name is Tom Sotos. I'm an artist, publisher, and my colleague Alan Aldridge designed the Hard Rock logo 42 years ago. He also did the Beatles illustrated lyrics and many historic things. But Jimi Hendrix, with his dream before he became famous was to have Alan do his album, but it never happened. So when Jimi became famous, Jimi met Alan at a Paul McCartney party, and at that party, Jimi asked him to do a guitar for him. And then, of course, history as it were, Jimi never returned from his concert in Germany. I mean, he returned, but he passed away. And Alan told me that story 30 years ago, and it always stuck in my head. So one day I said, let's do the guitar now. So I called Annie Bolero from the Hard Rock and said, here's a crazy story, but listen to it for a minute. She said, Tom, that is crazy. It's an amazing story, but it's going to be a lot of hard work to get everybody to sign off on that in today's very legal world. And so 2 years ago I started lobbying Fender Guitars and everybody that it would take to do it. And 2 years later, there it is, a tribute to Jimi. Jimi wanted Alan to do a guitar. It happened. And the good part about this story is that it's going to be a part that raises money for kids and for education and the public park in Seattle, which is tremendous.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.